Alright, yeah, my teachers always told me I'd never amount to nothing, and they may have been right. That's why I jump on a mic every night. 'Cause when I jump on the mic, that's how I know that I'ma be alright. Well, I'ma be alright.
Into it today, my question to you: should teaching be an apprenticeship or a teaching degree at university? Should teaching be an apprenticeship or a teaching degree at university?
Now, I've said for many, many years, Miles, that the first year of uni for teachers should always be you're an EA.
Yeah, I
You go
like
into a
that.
classroom 2 days a week. You go to uni 1 day a week. You know, you still do whatever you learn first year uni. I can't remember, but
no one does.
I remember more about what I learned as an EA while I was at uni
Yeah.
than I remember being at uni ever.
So how long were you EAing for? If you don't mind me asking.
Ooh, 6 years. I think.
Oh, was it? Yes, I mean, that's a nice way to get into the classroom, is into the profession.
Yep.
Get that idea. I think you're right to work with the students. You're not I imagine there's still a component of planning to it, but you're not heavily having to do the teacher-led planning.
So I was a special needs EA in early childhood.
Yep.
And then I was a relief EA in early childhood, pre-primary, kinder group. And then I did a bunch of special needs contracts with kids in year 3, year 6, and stuff like that.
Right.
I still think that I learnt more about behaviour management, more about engaging kids in that time as an EA than I ever did at uni and on pracs.
Yeah, and that's, look, and so I did a dip ed in teaching, so you undergrad and then do a year. So I didn't do the year diploma education. I didn't do the bachelor, but I think that's at least around our time frame, our ages, that seems to be the common thing with people coming into teaching. Universities just too theory heavy.
No, and it's so outdated.
Yeah, and the dip ed, you only had 2 pracs. So one was like a 3-week prac, and the last one was a 6-week prac. And that I believe that's heavily dependent on what school, your schools and your mentors you have at those schools.
Absolutely.
Which can kind of make, without trying to sound traumatic, can make or break you in your teaching career.
I've had a couple of friends who have either left uni because their prac teachers were just so mean and unhelpful. Yeah. And then other ones who have ended up getting permanent jobs at their school that they did their ATPs in because they got so much support. The admin was on board. The prac coordinator person was helpful. Yeah. And they're just like, I don't want to leave this school.
That's what I was country for my last prac, which I got paid for and ended up spending 2 years there. With my first prac, wasn't good at all, man. And I was like, far out. This is
horrible.
Yeah. And especially your first prac. I've always leaned towards, teaching, being a university degree initially. Maybe it was a prestige thing, but you feel like you're at university, so there's some kind of possible intellect required to get here. But these days, I've been teaching for a while. I think it's more of an apprenticeship style industry.
I like the fact that you think there's some prestige in teaching models, but in my current experience with multiple education facilities,
brain surgeons and rocket scientists.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, some people just chose the job because they had the right ATAR score to go to do something at uni, and then they're like, well, I reckon I could be a teacher.
And that ATAR score at times for the bachelor can get very low.
Yeah.
And how do you justify that? You've got teachers who can't even pass their ATAR. They're going to be teaching the next generation.
Didn't they just release a bunch of 500 uni enrollments or something for people with 60 ATAR scores or something like that?
One point it was like, which I think is, I don't know, it's failing your ATAR. It's not passing your courses. Yeah. And you're like, well, how do you then go into a classroom?
Good luck.
That's
you never know. Maybe they just don't do well in standardised tests.
So I think it's staggered approach, whatever you call it, an apprenticeship or some kind of structured process there.
Absolutely. They need more time.
I think the dip heads are too short for the way. Maybe it's 2. I think it might be 2 years now. I did it nearly 20 years ago. I think
it's a grad. It's a master's now, I think.
I haven't read too much into this. I don't think you need to do a master's to be a teacher. I think you're right. I think that the practical side of it's the most important part, especially the changing environment and complexity of student needs these days.
Yeah.
You got to focus on that more.
I look at some of the EAs that I've worked with over the years. They are amazing. They run classrooms.
For the pay EAs get, it's ridiculous.
But if they just decided, to go to uni to be a teacher, they have to do 4 years. Even if they've been an EA for 30 years, they can't just jump in to uni where you get people who have been, an accountant for 20 years. They do a grad dip and then they're in there in a year. They have 0 classroom experience, 0 behaviour management.
Yeah.
They have no idea how a schooling system works.
Yeah.
But they can do it.
Yeah.
But the people who have been in there doing sometimes absolutely amazing work.
Getting paid $5.50 an hour.
Yeah. And then
crazy.
They get gypped over again because they can't just jump into uni and be a teacher where they do. Some EAs do 2/3 of a teacher's job anyway because the teacher's useless.
Absolutely. And for the pay, the EAs don't get paid anything, and it's ridiculous.
No.
But I remember a couple of years ago, I was working in a school, had an awesome EA, and used to have that conversation with her frequently. I'm like, go do it. Like, you're an awesome EA, you'd be a great teacher. But her thing was, I've been doing this. I've been doing this for over a decade, EAing, and B, it's the 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's just the lifestyle where she couldn't afford to take those, do it full time or drop to part time. She couldn't make it work, which is a shame.
It happens all the time. It's kind of gross. But anyway.
Right. So what would it need to be, 3 or 4 years for the structured process to get?
I reckon if you did 3 years, just do trimesters. The uni people have so many holidays.
Yeah, that's coming from teachers as well. Yeah, there's levels to the holiday game. Lecturers at the buff.
Yeah.
What are the semesters? 13 weeks?
10 weeks.
And then exam study or something,
And
isn't
then
it?
2 weeks of exams. And in the middle, they have like a week or two off.
They do have a week or 2 off. Yeah.
Like, come on.
It feels good to rag on other professions for too many holidays.
Exactly.
It
doesn't
does.
happen often.
No.
Them and firefighters. Firefighters seem to get a lot too.
Yeah, but at least they're risking their life.
To be fair, their jobs are pretty crazy.
Absolutely.
Very hard job.
Absolutely. Look, so to bring it back, today's episode, we want to look at the rise of classroom violence against teachers and sort of look at it in an Australian scope. Grab my laptop for this. So the the first bit, looking at what the research says. So we're kind of looking over the last 10 years and sort of has it increased, decreased? I think it's fair to say just on a surface value, it's increased.
I would imagine at least the last 4 years, it's increased dramatically.
Yeah, so we'll look at one of the strongest Australian topics published in the Journal of School Violence by researchers from Monash University in Victoria University. So the study surveyed just over 8,000 Australian teachers.
Yep.
In 2019 and 2022. So
Same teachers?
Same teachers.
If that's still around, I guess.
I believe. So the survey found between 20 and 25% of teachers reported feeling unsafe at school. Teachers who felt unsafe were significantly less satisfied. Teachers who felt unsafe were significantly less satisfied with teaching, which I think that's common sense. And they was more likely to intend to leave the profession. So what are we looking at? So roughly 1 in 4 teachers surveyed, so they didn't consistently feel safe at work.
Well, that sort of goes with, I saw something that it's about 1 in 3 teachers in 2025. Or said that they weren't going to be teachers by 22.
1 in 3, was it? No.
Take away retirements and, stuff like that.
So not just graduates, like across the board?
Across the board.
Okay.
1 in 3, they reckon they won't be there in 5 years.
How much do you reckon is
I
attributed
stopped
to
reading
this?
after the top part, but I could imagine that the violence in schools, verbal and physical, even towards other staff, like other peers, and staff, would be a huge contributing factor to that.
Who's this survey from? So looking at school leaders reporting on your principals, deputy principals, reporting on recorded levels of violence. So this one, the annual Australian Principal, Occupation, Health and Safety, Wellbeing Surveyed, had tracked school leaders for more than a decade. The main findings from the results were violence against principals has increased dramatically since 2011. Physical violence reported by principals rose from just over 27% in 2011 to just under 48%.
Is that in total
25.
is that parents and students, or
I
mainly parents?
didn't
or?
say. I reckon it's parents and students. I think. I only say that because the few instances I know of towards principals and staff has involved
It's always, in my experience, mostly
parents.
being parents.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's any easier, but
Yeah.
it's quite, dramatic.
Absolutely. And then, so threats of violence also increased substantially over the same period. So, I mean, I guess, it's a 20% rise in violence. Now, is it, I don't imagine.
Did you say 20?
So if we go, just 2011, physical violence reported by principals rose from 27% in 2011 to 48%.
So nearly doubled.
In 2025, yeah.
Doubled in 14 years.
Now, I can't imagine how we're reporting incidents is changing either.
No.
I can't imagine the standard of what is violence over 10 years has drastically changed.
Unless what's happened is these numbers were always there, but more people are willing to say it now. That would probably be the only real... Because violence against teachers and admin and stuff has always been there.
So why wouldn't they say it? I agree with you. They weren't saying it 10 years ago because there's a level of possibly...
Oh, I've got to suck it up. I've got to, this is my job.
That's where I was going
part
with
and parcel of my job. Oh, look, I work with this child. Oh, he kicks people.
I think there's an element to that. I think absolutely.
I definitely think so.
I haven't come across a heap of students hitting teachers. I've seen threats and stuff.
Person for that one.
Well, you're probably the good person to ask. So you've seen a bit over the last couple of years in particular?
I would say from 2020, I would see, or at least work with maybe 100 staff members that have been hit by students.
Is that right?
Kicked by students. I've witnessed it myself. I've been hit and kicked by students.
And what are we talking about? Trying to punch the face kind of thing? Hits to the body?
I'm lucky I work with primary school kids. I'm quite tall.
Yeah.
So there was no to the face. There was a lot to the body.
You're a unit as well, Matthew.
Yeah, I know. But in high schools, it's a lot more in your face, pushing. I haven't actually seen personally a student punch a teacher.
Yeah.
But I've seen students push teachers. I've seen students get right in their face and try to spit at teachers.
At a high school level?
Yeah.
Because I started trying to research and ran out of time. How much difference is there between primary school and high school incidents? And the difference being is, don't get me wrong, violence is bad, but a year 2 student trying to kick a teacher compared to a year 10 student trying to kick a teacher, there's a level of
And I think that's one of the reasons that number would have doubled in 10 years, because more people are reporting about being kicked in the shin because it hurts.
Yeah.
Unless you do boot tie.
Yeah.
Well, kicked in the shin, it hurts. But because they're little, you're like, no, you brush it off. Like the little white fluffy dog that bites everyone at the park. No one cares because it's a little white fluffy dog. But if a Doberman bites you,
can't be having that.
No.
Can't
but it's the same action. It's just different sizes.
So yeah. I agree. So I think just drawing from the research, so what are we looking at? So I think we're both on the same path. It has increased. I think there's been a level of it throughout at least a couple of decades teaching. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably gone a bit. It's more these days.
Well, the last 4 years has gone.
Yeah. So is we always talk about students' needs becoming more complex, or are teachers just becoming less equipped to deal with it? Is the system becoming less equipped to deal with it? Both,
and I also believe, this is back in my soapbox, but when you take teachers' autonomy away to manage their classrooms by having low deviation teaching, the kids who do well in those environments, they're going to do well in any environment. But when you start doing repetitive, every lesson's the same, for the kids who are struggling anyway, they're not going to get it. They're going to get further behind faster because everything's built upon the week before. And then that type of, anxiety-driven behaviour, because all these kids are getting smarter and I'm not. I'd rather be seen as the dumb kid, the angry kid, than the dumb kid has increased.
And that's the big thing. As you know, big thing at high school, it's the reputation. Look at me, and as soon as a student starts feeling out of place against their peers, it's I'm not going to try now because I can't afford to lose my sense of identity.
So I'd rather be seen as naughty.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll swear at that teacher because they make me feel a bit uncomfortable because I didn't put the work in to do my work.
Yeah.
But that's their fault. So I'm going to yell at them. Then my friends will laugh. I get kicked out of class.
So
I don't have to do my work.
My reputation's intact still.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's a story, like, you know, that happened when we were in school, you know, like it's not anything new. It's just happening more because kids are losing their ability to regulate, but they're also being forced to do way more work at paces that they can't do.
I know, I think a big one as well, I've noticed that post-COVID, and obviously, you know, as we talk about well documented, there's a teaching shortage in Australia. But the staffing challenges, like I know if there's relief teachers at our school, the kids, unless the relief teachers used to work at the school and come back to pick up relief, it's highly unlikely those students are going to behave. And I know as head of department, when I got a relief teacher in, they're very hit and miss these days. And the students know and they sense it straight away. So as soon as you got that student playing, you know, a teacher come in at a relief nature, those students start playing up straight away. And I think, you know, and then if teachers are coming and going at different schools through different times of the years, like we've had, at one of the schools I worked at previously, you'd have one class would have 3 or 4 teachers throughout the year. And then the sole goal is just to destroy the next teacher coming in. And I look at them, you know, as you know, it takes a certain kind of teacher to be able to withstand that and then hang around and then mould those kids and change those kids.
Yep, because the people who do the relief work, I'm not saying there are some amazing relief teachers that
absolutely
should be in the classroom or should be managing schools because they're really good.
Yeah.
But they take the relief role because they've got kids, there's less planning, they do all that, but they've got the skills to manage those kids because they've done relief teaching or they've done classroom teaching for so long.
Yeah.
Where you look at some of the relief teachers that I've had in my classrooms and you probably always spoke about.
Yeah.
They're relief teachers because they can't get a job anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's when...
And different schools with different expectations.
Yeah,
so you just
and then you get those teachers that come in and, you know, little Miles up the back goes, oh, great, I had a bad night's sleep.
Bring it on.
I can't be bothered doing work with this silly looking person up the front. You know what? I've got some new jokes. I'm going to see if my peers like them. Let's go.
Yeah. And I kind of find that's a bit of a difference these days as well, where it used to be jokes and stuff that before, now it can get more threatening behaviour with stuff. And it's been at times I've been called in to deal with stuff with relief teachers.
I blame drill rap, but anyway, that's for a different day.
You what?
I blame drill rap.
Yeah.
That stuff is horrible.
What about how does parenting tie into this? Are parents, is there a reduced focus on emotional regulation and emotional skills?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, again, like I look at myself, I work full time. My partner works full time. We have a very little network of people that we can drop our kids off.
Yep.
So some days you come home and your kids are crying, you're like, you know what? Yeah, have your iPad, just be quiet, just leave me alone. But I do that maybe once a week because I have, you know, our lives are a bit different. But if I worked full time and I left at 6 a.m, got back at 6 p.m, my partner worked full time, kids are in before and after school care. Oh, the parenting is out the window. You're now just surviving because everything's so expensive.
Yeah.
You know, like fuel's a bad example now because they've taken that excise off. But food, rent, mortgage, power, water, takeout, everything is so expensive. Parents are working more and they don't have time to parent their kids.
Yeah.
And their kids they're not parented at all.
And I think...
No offence to the parents.
No, and I think you're absolutely right there, mate. And I think teachers at times, and I've done it as well, can just go parenting levels have slacked across the last couple of years. But you're right. I mean, I think...
But there's a reason.
But I know, but both parents are working these days. Both parents are working longer hours. Both parents are sort of... The work dynamics changing.
And also you think about grandparents. So half the grandparents are still working. So it's not even like the village that raised us. Everyone's now working.
No more village.
There's no more village. So, and unfortunately, the teachers will always say, "Oh, that kid's parents." Well, are that child's parents at capacity? Yeah. If they're at capacity already because of whatever reason, work, life, their own mental health, who knows, whatever it is, their child is going to be a reflection of that in the classroom.
It's never a black or white situation, is it?
Well, there are sometimes where the parents are just, I just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
But then they're very few and far between now.
Yeah.
Because people have seen what happens when you don't parent children.
So, I mean, this brings me on to my next point. So, I mean, what are schools already doing? And I think a big one, at least the last couple of schools I've worked at, is bringing in PBS or positive behaviour support programs. Now, I think where the misconception can be with PBS kind of frameworks in schools is just, let's just give lollies and give rewards and stuff. But I think if it's done correctly, you're teaching the students how to behave. Like, just how you teach curriculum. Like, this is how we approach it. This is the situation. Mm-hmm. Which, again, years ago when I first heard this, and my teachers just doing more and more in the classroom. But nowadays, I'm like, well, society's changing so quickly. You need people across the board to possibly be doing it. And I think from what I've seen in my experience, if done properly, there's some success to these PBS programs.
PBS is great if the people running it are willing to put the effort in and realise the bigger picture.
Yeah.
When people just think, oh, fine, I'll just give them 5 more stickers for their chart, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
Because it's not...
You're not reteaching. You're not teaching desired behaviours.
It's called sculpting behaviour. You're not, gone are the days where people have realised that if you yell at a child or a student or a young person for doing the wrong thing, they're going to keep doing it. But if you praise all the good things that they do and ignore the negative thing dwindles because they get so much praise and interaction and connection for doing the right thing. The schools that do PBS correctly nail it.
Yeah.
And then some schools are like, oh, yeah, we're a PBS school because our principal came from one. No, I don't believe in it. And then they always fail. Always. Yeah. But I think the biggest part, definitely in my new role, is trying to get teachers to understand like trauma and have trauma-informed practice. Because once you get your head around that child's not being mean to me, they're just coping the best way they can. Like, this job needs 10 tools and they've got 3.
Yeah, it's separating the behaviour from the student.
And again, the schools that have good PBS also have a good switch when it comes to understanding the kid's behaviour as well. And if you don't understand a kid's behaviour and you try to do a blanketed strategy, you're going to get sworn at, you're going to get hit because it's not meeting the need.
I think, as I said before, one of the best professional developments I've done early in my career was the low-key behaviour strategies. Mm-hmm. But do you almost need to come back and teach more de-escalation stuff these days? And I haven't seen that program for over a decade. Is there something there that sort of needs to be more, and it might be, but something in terms of those, student behaviours getting more and more complex instead of maybe just the planned ignore and stuff. How do we de-escalate? Because those, when you get a student, as we know, into a power standoff, A, it escalates real quick, and B, it can escalate even further. Like, you've got to have the skills around that.
And I do like the, planned ignore. It's a great strategy. Absolutely works for about 3 kids per classroom.
Well, the students dig in and
and then when it's the planned ignore because the behaviour, when the student wants connection, not attention, good luck ignoring that one because that behaviour is going to escalate real quick.
Yeah.
You get kids in year 2 trying to snip people's hair because all they want is that teacher to talk to them.
Wait, where do you sit on year 7? We had this discussion before. Year 7 should be part of high school or not part of high school?
I think they should be part of high school.
I see, I'm the opposite. I think they should.
Solely because I'm from New South Wales and year 7, I was in high school.
They're too young, man. Oh, yeah, okay. All right. I was all for it initially. Now I'm like, they're too young still. Or whatever that year balance is between 7 and 8.
Unless they have, go to that American, where you have primary school, is it middle school?
Oh, and then high school.
Sophomore, whatever. I don't understand all them terms, but they're all in all the movies.
They are.
But, maybe we have like that type of year 7 and 8s are together.
Yeah.
Year 9 and 10s are together. Year 11 and 12s are together. Some schools have that. They have their little separate areas and things. But who knows? But I do think that teachers are expected to deal with way more. They're at capacity more.
Yeah.
So then because they're at capacity, then when the child, student, young person's at capacity, you're automatically going to be in a standoff.
Yeah.
The student wants to win.
Yeah.
They know they can swear at you. They know they can threaten you. They know they can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
They're going to do it.
So
To
what?
save face.
So what more can be done? I mean, they talk about.
Yell back at them. No, don't do that.
Yeah, what?
I said yell back at them. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Never do that. I've never seen that work.
No, it never works. But people still try.
But did it get to a point that you just have like behaviour squads in schools, like squads of teachers going through, which is kind of at schools student services can be. But I mean, do you get more? It's just like these are the behaviour like gurus of the region, and they work in certain. It's probably like, well, you're working at it, aren't you? Yeah, but, you know, like
No comment, Miles.
become like the SWAT team of. I know, but yeah, like it's. I think
Funny you should say that. There was one school that called their behaviour, their students, the SWAT team.
as a joke, or that was actually professionally.
Absolutely, I don't even know what school it was, but all I remember is a couple of people have told me, oh, yeah, like that school SWAT team. I'm like their what? Sorry. Student, it did stand for like student wellbeing.
Right.
It's something team, and
Right.
they just call it the SWAT team.
Right.
Some schools do have it, and it does work very well.
Right.
But you also need to have the right people, the right admin, understanding throughout the school of how to use that team to help, not the teacher, help the student.
I think, and again, and I don't know how much of it is bureaucracy stuff, but having people who are in non-teaching roles be able to teach like behaviour programs and stuff, or like I don't know what the exact word is. Intervention programs. So I've worked at schools that have got some incredible student services operators, and they come from different professions and stuff, but they can't, and they'd be perfect for the heart of the hard kids who don't want to go to school, to get them teaching the course, and they're more than capable enough. But whatever the process is, they're not allowed to. I'm like, if you can ease that, because so much of this stuff relies on the right person having that.
I also look at, so you have care schools, like you have your alternate pathway schools.
Yeah.
So for kids who they're not in ed support, they just don't fit mainstream schools, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
But there's nowhere near enough of them.
Yeah.
And they start in year 9. Some will start in year 8. What about the kids in year 7?
Get it down lower.
Yes, they should, they need to try their first year of high school. Is always hard for everyone. It is. But some kids find it ridiculously hard. And they don't go, they get excluded, they fight, they do whatever, because they can't manage their regulation in that school. But then you get, where do they go? But if that same behaviour happens in year 9, then that school, that student's parents can put in a referral to the care school. And then smaller setting, hands-on learning, there's an actual point to what they're learning.
Yeah.
They do their literacy and numeracy, but they might want to be a welder. So then they teach their literacy skills so they can get a green card. Or is it a green card? White card? Whatever the OH&S.
I think it might be a white card. I think.
They tailor the learning to those settings.
Sure.
And you can't do that in a mainstream school. It's not possible. You got 7,000 kids in some schools. It's too much. But if you can have each suburb or each high school has like a little unit that has, this is where the kids can go. They get their hands on skill. I don't know how it works, but there needs to be something. And I don't know if early intervention is the best idea.
Right.
Only because primary schools are the same as high schools. They're so bombarded with, I think, irrelevant
curriculum at times.
Because it hasn't been changed in God knows how long. Then you can't do anything. To take away. So some schools have 2-hour literacy blocks, 5 days a week. Why?
Yeah, we talked about this previously. I once taught a school that had 80 minutes.
Yeah.
Back-to-back lessons of maths.
So just, take one of them away and do some behaviour management, teach them.
Do some PBS stuff, what it happens to be.
Self-reg stuff, teach closed versus open mind, do whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do early intervention, that's the stuff that needs to happen. But you can't do it in the current system because everything's getting pushed down. Like year 6 content is now in year 3.
Yeah.
Why?
Moved around.
Some kids in year 3 still can't wipe their bum probably.
Weird way to segue, but yes, I'm with you. Wrapping up, my man. So we're going, Yeah, I think we agree. I think that the rise of violence is getting harder. It is happening, but I think it's probably, I don't know the word systematic, but it's probably been something similar always there. And I think it's the schools are trying, but is the problem too complex? I don't know if it is. Is it just society just coming on too much too quickly? All the changes.
I still blame the internet, but anyway, for dwindling the ability for people to regulate their own emotions.
Social media? Yeah.
But there's always going to be things like this because you never know what that person in your classroom story is, what's going through their brain, what's happening at home. But I do think that if you can get some teachers to have a little bit more understanding, a bit more, I guess, de-escalation skills, understand that there's other behaviour strategies other than planned ignore, and just get those generally across the school, you might see a reduction in those negative behaviours to staff. You never know. It's worth a try.
Any ideas out there, team? Hit us up. Any of the social media available. Like always, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.